Hi! So in this video I am making a original fairy design costume character thing. I've loved fairies ever since I was a little girl, and going to Renaissance festivals and seeing people dress up as them, I was like, that looks so fun and they look so cute. I want to do that someday, and finally doing it in this video. For my design for the character, I knew I wanted to have a lot of green and have a kind of forest fairy theme. So I went on Pinterest and found a bunch of inspiration images and leaves that I liked and used that for inspiration for my design that I drew for her. So I'll show that time lapse and explain my thought process.
So before designing this character, I knew I wanted to use that corset pattern I have as well as my real hair. Other than that, I just looked at my Pinterest inspiration, and I really like when fairies look like they've made their clothes out of the plants around them, and I just kind of started thinking, how would I make a top and skirt out of a bunch of leaves? And this is what came to mind. It's very green, and I think it's very cute.
So I have worked on this a little bit off camera. I made the stays for this. I will link below where you can buy the pattern for the stays. I love this pattern. I've used it multiple times and it's great. The only thing I haven't done yet is add these appliques that I got, and just add a nice leafy detail. You can't have too many leaves with this. I'm gonna add these on as the next step for this project, but yeah, that's where I'm at so far, and once these are on, we'll move on to the skirt and shirt.
Oh, I also wanted to mention I did alter the pattern for this corset just a little bit. I lowered the back because I knew I would be putting in fairy wings, and I didn't want them to sit so high up on my back. So yeah, back to leaves.
What do you think, Kiki? How is it? Wanna come on my lap? Hi! So I just finished pinning the applique. I think it looks so fancy and pretty. Because there is boning in this corset, I think I'm gonna sew most of it by hand because I can't go over the boning with my machine. I will pin the other one on and then start attaching it to the bodice.
So about maybe 30 minutes into hand sewing the applique on, I was like, nope, not doing this. My fingers hurt, and so I ran it under my machine. I was careful not to go over the boning I had in the corset, but yeah, I ended up just doing this with my machine because it was way faster.
I'm back and the corset is finished. For where I couldn't sew over the applique, where the boning was, I just used some fabric fusion glue and glued the leaves down there. But other than that, she's all done, and today I'm going to work on the skirt. I'm super excited for this part because I get to paint some fabric, which is always exciting. For the skirt, I'm going to follow what Rachel Maxey did in her autumn dress video. She made a waistband and then cut out leaf panels and sewed it into her waistband. I figured that would be the perfect way to make my skirt for this project too. I'm going to go ahead and get started cutting out some leaves and the waistband, and then I'll get to the fun part of painting them and making my fabric look more like leaves.
The waistband was super simple. It's just a giant rectangle of my waist measurement and then double the width of the band. And this was just going to be where I put all the leaves I'm gonna make into. The leaves were all a bunch of different sizes, so before I did any cutting, I just measured how wide I wanted them and how long I wanted each leaf to be, and then took those measurements to my fabric and cut out a general leaf shape for all the different sizes. And I cut their linings at the same time, that way I knew they were the same exact shape. As I was cutting the leaves out, I would then pin them to my mannequin and kind of just move them around until I was happy with how they were looking as a skirt. Then I sewed the leaves and lining together and pressed them so they would look nice and neat, and they were ready for painting. For painting them, I just kind of looked at leaves online and imitated the veins, and I thought this part was super satisfying. Yes, it was very messy, but I really thought it made the skirt come together and they were really looking like leaves. I also decided to add some of this sheer fabric just to make it look more whimsical. I then added eyelets so I could lace up the back of the skirt. Kiki was there to help make sure I was doing everything right, and then I embroidered them just to make them extra sturdy. So there wasn't a big opening in the back of the skirt. I made a leaf that was sewed on one side of the waistband and then would just Velcro shut on the other side. Now that the skirt was done, I moved on to the shirt. For the shirt's pattern, I found a peasant top pattern online that was free. I'll leave a link below to where you can find it, and it was super helpful. And basically, a peasant top is this big oversized shirt, and then you add elastic to the neckline, and then you have this cute flowy shirt. The only thing I changed from the pattern was the sleeves. I cut out some leaf shapes at the bottom of the sleeves. These sleeve bottoms look complicated to hem, so I just used some fray check on the edges and then they were ready to paint. And I just painted these the same way I did with my leaf skirt. Moving on to the little leaf cuff accessories, I just measured my arm and how long I wanted the leaves to be, and then worked with those measurements to make this pattern. I also added some iron-on interfacing to one of the sides just to make them a little bit sturdy and not so flimsy. Just like the waistband, I added some eyelets and then painted them, and then the last step, I also embroidered the eyelets on these. I just think it looks nice and it helps the eyelets stay in the fabric. With the cuffs done, the outfit was complete, and the last thing to make were the wings. I just drew my own wing design and printed it out to the size I wanted, and once I taped everything together, I used some malleable wire to basically just trace over the design I made. And any places where I needed to connect the two wires, I would use this metallic duct tape to join them. I made a total of 4 wireframes for this, 2 for the top wings and then 2 for the bottom. And then basically you take some spray adhesive and sandwich your wing frame between 2 pieces of iridescent cellophane. Then I used my heat gun just to shrink some of the cellophane and make it look tighter around the wire frame, and then I taped the wings together with more of that metallic tape and then covered it all with some fabric. That way it would be comfortable when I wear them. And with the wings finished, the outfit was complete and was ready to try on for the reveal. I can't believe this costume's done. I feel so cute and magical, and it was really fun making something from my own design and just getting creative. It was really satisfying and rewarding. Cosplay's fun too, but this was just a nice change up from trying to directly recreate something to just kind of getting creative and making whatever I want. I am like so distracted by the wings and how shiny they are. I do think next time I make wings, I will make them just a little bit smaller, especially if I'm gonna wear this to a Ren fair. I don't want to be getting in people's way, so I might make these again, but just size them down a little bit. I am super happy with how this turned out. I think it's so cute. But yeah, that is it. Thanks so much for watching and Happy New Year. I have so many projects I'm so excited to work on this year, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Hello, little bug. Were you wearing a fairy crown earlier today? I was. How can you tell?